Okay, we are back for part 3, and it's time to get the cabinet all fixed up. So off camera, after the last part previous to this one, I went ahead and dug out all this damaged area and shoved a little brace in here to keep the side from collapsing in and getting crushed and breaking off. This was a casualty of doing that process, and I put some screws in here and wood glued. So these are wood glued back in place, and we'll bondo it up and sand it down. And I got this aluminum foil tape that we're going to use to kind of counteract the gravity of slopping this with bondo and having it drip down. So we're going to be able to do this corner and all along here, and it should turn out quite nice. I tried to put some wood glue in here to fix the cracked side, and it did not work. So I drilled some holes here, and I put some wood screws through here along with some wood glue, and that should keep this nice and square and secure, and it should not be wobbling around anymore. And there's not really any way to fix this without replacing everything from this point down. I don't want to have to do that. So we'll slather bondo all on this and get this all looking neat and sand it all down. This will look pretty good when I'm done. But it's screwed together, so the cabinet is nice and it doesn't wobble around anymore at all now. So that's perfect. Same thing over here. I had to do the same thing over here because I could not get this piece. There was a gap. Let's see here. There was a gap between here. I kind of missed with the original drill point. We'll fix that. But there was a gap between here, like, I don't know, about this big. So I had to put those screws in there, and that fixed the gap. So that's fixed now. So now we're ready to start this side. We're going to just slop a bunch of bondo on here, wait for it to dry, and then we're going to flip it around on the other side and do the other side and do all of our sanding all at one time. You can see here I put some braces under here. These are just glued in place. They're not screwed in place, but they're nice and secure from the wood glue. You can see that I did that so we can create a bridge for the bondo to sit in, and that should work just fine. So this side should be immensely easier than this side, so that's why we're starting with this side first. So let's get the bondo all mixed up, and we'll start slathering it on here and see if we can get it to fill the gaps and make it look pretty good. So here we go.
Liftoff of mission 41D, the first flight of the orbital Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower. Core computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Alright, well, that's one side basically done. There is a little area here and right here that I need to get, but I ran out of hardener and bondo, so I've actually got a whole bunch more. But for now, I can do this with it standing up, so I'm not too worried about that. But I have about a 30-second work time. Once I get this mixed up, it's so hot in the garage, I got about a 30-second workability time before it starts setting up. But what I like about this aluminum tape is that you can actually just peel it right off, and it doesn't take the bondo with it. See, it comes right off. See, and it doesn't stick to the bondo. So I like it a lot. Very easy, very workable. There we go. So the tape comes off, bondo stays behind. Of course, if it's not too much on there, there we go. Some left right there. Yeah. So this stuff works real well. The bondo doesn't stick to it, and it peels right off. So, yep. Now it's time to. Well, it's not time now, but I'm gonna let this set up for about half an hour or so, and then flip the cabinet around and start the other side. So, that being said, it'll be half an hour for me, but about 5 seconds for you guys. So, here we go. Okay, so this side's ready to go. We got the aluminum foil tape in here, or just aluminum tape. You can see I put these braces in here. They're just hot glued. They're wood glued in place, and they're nice and secure to give it a little bit extra stability along the sides. So we're really only going to have to work on. Let's see if I can get the exposure better. I'm sorry. This corner up to about right here, and then this area right there, from here to here. And then this corner. That's about all we're going to have to work on. But I should be able to fill that in very easily. And should turn out fine. So let's see how it goes. I just want to take a moment here and show that I just opened a brand new container of this bondo. I'll stay there. And it's like 2/3 full. I don't know if you can see that, but it's, yeah, it's like, the fill line's right here. It's like 2/3 full. I got a whole third of nothing. It's brand new. So, just, what a jip. That's how it goes. And now we have this side complete. So let's take off our tape. Right off. One motion, right off! And got it. Okay. There may be a little sliver still, I think, but we'll get it. Anyway, so yeah, it's hard to see, but well, I'm going to trim this off. I have a X-Acto knife here. What did I do with it? Over here. Okay. So what we're going to do, there goes my tape. Damn it. We can take a knife and just trim all this excess off of here like this. So we don't actually have to sand this entire thing down. We don't want to take too much off though. So that's the general idea there. Like the rest of this, we can just kind of trim all this off of here, this excess, so we don't got to sand it all. But yep, it's all dry. I need to stand it back up. And I tried to tackle these other areas here, but I ran out. It hardened too quick and I ran out and I couldn't get this. So we're going to stand this up. We're going to fix this corner there, and then we're going to fill in the lockdown bar holes and that area there that I missed, along with fixing all of this. I didn't show it, but I made a little brace here to replace the one that was missing. And I got to fill all this area in here, and the holes for the bracket that are busted out and shoot out. So we're going to stand this up and take care of that. So let's see how that goes. Alright, so running out of daylight here. There's only about, I don't know, 45 minutes or so of decent daylight, and I need to let this set up more. So I'm going to have to come back to this tomorrow, let this sit overnight and everything dry. But we got everything done that needs to be done. All of this up here. We got this area there, and of course the lockdown bar bolts and this corner here. There was a little gouge right there I took care of course, all along the bottom on both sides. We got this corner here taken care of. We got this area down there filled in. This piece over here is all filled in. And of course, like I said, both sides. So this should turn out very nice once we're done. And there's a little water damage on top, but I can actually sand all this down and should be okay. And yep, these holes here got filled in. So once everything is sanded and done, this should be very, very nice. A very good turnout. And then it'll be time to sand, well, I'll probably sand the entire thing, but after that, if it all turns out well, I'm going to put the art on, and then we'll see how that goes. So for me, it'll be, 12 hours or so. For you guys, it'll be instantaneous. And just like that, it's the next morning. I'm in the garage here because it's rather windy outside. You can see the trees blowing and stuff, so it's going to be hard for me to narrate outside, so I'm going to do some narration here. You can see the cabinet is on its back. I'm going to do the front and the corners and what I can do in this configuration. I don't want the wind to mess up with the microphone so you can actually hear me. So I'm not going to do narration outside. I'm going to get everything done all at one time and then show everything off after it's all complete. So I'm going to get the camera on the tripod over there, and we're going to set up and get to sanding and get the entire cabinet completely 100% all sanded and done and ready to go. And then I'll come in and show it in the garage and talk about it where you can actually hear me. So let's get to it. Alright, so 3.5 hours later, all that work, we are ready for artwork. Everything turned out phenomenal. You can see the corners here are nice and round. They're not perfect, but they are a lot better than they were. So I had to add you saw I had to add some more bondo here, I believe, on this side, because it wasn't quite, it's still kind of curved inward, so I had to add some more bondo, but you can see down the side here that it's pretty much flat. So we got a nice rounded corner on each end now. So that's good to go. Got the T-molding grooves cut. So our corners are good. Our bottom edge is good on both sides. There was it this side? I think it might have been the other side. Or as I was saying, it kept getting worse and worse. Yeah, right here. it kept getting worse and worse, so I just decided to leave it the way that it was. This is the side that I screwed in those pieces on. And as I was sanding, it kept getting further in and further in, so I'm like, oh, I'll stop right there. So I didn't want to have to add more Bondo and resand and do all that. So it is flat. So I did a full sanding with 80 grit, and after that I did 220 grit to kind of flatten it all down and smooth it out, but it is smooth as silk. So I was going to go the laminate route, but since this turned out so well, I'm just going to put the art on the wood. So I believe we are ready, completely ready for artwork. I got all of the inside cleaned out and wiped down and painted, and it looks great. Turned out all right. The inside of the cabinet is really in not too bad a shape. Of course, I painted the speaker grill in the front and the back here and the top. So yes, it is 100% ready to proceed. It turned out awesome, and I'm going to get the artwork installed on both sides, and then we'll get the T-molding installed, and then that'll be the end of this part. And the next part will be reassembling the cabinet, getting everything finished and complete, and some final touches, and then we'll call the project complete. So stay tuned for that one, or that final part, and for now we'll get the artwork on, and I'll come back and we'll show it off, and that'll be the end of this part. And just like that, one side is done. It turned out absolutely awesome. It's slightly, well, no, actually it's pretty much perfect right there against the edge. I was gonna say I thought the M was a bit off the edge, but it's not. I still gotta get the T-molding on, and of course we're gonna wrap the edge underneath it so it keeps it from being peeled off. But yeah, it turned out quite well. So we got one more side to do, then we'll get the T-molding installed, and we'll call this part complete. Outstanding. Okay, let's get the other side on. Here's the other side. Turned out just as perfect as the other side. I gotta say, this project is turning out to be quite nice. Obviously, we got T-molding to hold all this down here, but yep, so quite nice. I got the bolts back in, polished them up for the back door, bottom and top. So yep, it's time now to get the T-molding on, and then we'll call this part complete. Alright, so that's basically it for today, for this part. If you can't hear me, I'm sorry because of the wind, but it turned out everything is great. All the cabinetry, all the woodwork turned out fine. We got the corners fixed on both sides. The bottoms are good. We got all the T-molding installed. Corner fixed on this side. It's not perfect, it's not exactly round, that's why there was a little bit of a hiccup in the the T-molding, but it should be fine. Yep. So now we're ready to put everything back together on the inside and wrap the project up, so stay tuned for that.